the accessibility options to it really let you kind of curate the game to your own level, and I really like that. And of course, it's challenging for those who want it to, and that's like the ideal kind of game in that regard. So I do see myself really do like spending more time with it and whatnot. I'm just hopping off of everything right now, so it's not great.
Part of me wonders if all, like, we've seen so many leaks about Half-Life 3, and part of me just wonders if maybe they're all wrong.
It's like, yes, this is cool and all, but is it fun to play? Like, where is the 30 seconds of fun, right? Like, make the game fun first, and then do your cool thing.
Everything seems to be getting more expensive, so I wanted to show you a way that you can save a little bit of money. This is Eneba.com, a massive gaming marketplace where you can buy game keys, gift cards, subscriptions for pretty much every platform. There's no reason to still be paying full price for games if you don't have to. Games that go for $60 or $70 on Steam, you can get them for way cheaper on Eneba. For example, Resident Evil Village is currently $40 on Steam, but you can get it on Eneba for just $6.53. That's a ridiculous deal. And Eneba is not limited to just Steam games. You can also get Xbox Game Pass codes, DLC, Steam wallet cards as well. Eneba uses verified sellers and is trusted by millions. It has an excellent Trustpilot rating, and your code lands in your email just a few minutes after you buy. Plus, they do cash back on lots of orders, so you get to save even more. So if you would like to pay less for the games that you know you're going to be buying anyway, check out the link in the description down below or pinned in the comments. If you use that link, you're going to be supporting the channel and saving money at the same time. Now, back to the episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to the NerdNest podcast. I'm your host, Bill Fairchild, and both Carrie and Russ are back. Carrie, where you been, man?
I've been in London for the past 2 weeks, and this entire week I was a bit jet lagged, but I feel like yesterday I'm back on banging on all cylinders.
So you had a 5-hour difference.
Yep, I had a 5-hour difference in London.
And then Russ, what was your time zone difference from?
Yeah, I think it was 6 hours. Well, 18 hours really, but 6 hours in a day kind of thing.
Okay.
So maybe 7 hours. I can't remember. It all changes with the daylight savings here and all that stuff. But yeah, it was a pretty long difference. But honestly, I know I made that video about me being in China, but I wasn't actually in China. I was on Gabe Newell's yacht, because that's where you're supposed to review all the Steam machines.
You're not supposed to
flew
say
me
that
out there, right? And then I had a Steam machine. I just was working on it this whole time. Yeah.
Or maybe you were at his new house that he bought in Florida, apparently for $70 million.
Really? $70 million. Wow.
I know. I can't even imagine what a house looks like that costs that much money.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. That's
Especially in Florida.
Yeah, right?
Who wants to live there? Anyway, we've got a lot of video game news to talk about, and leave comments below asking all of the London and China questions that you guys have, because these guys were traveling. I didn't go anywhere, so don't ask me any questions. But man, we have a lot of Steam related news. So first off, we have a Steam controller update, and depending on how you look at it, it could be good, it could be bad. I think it's good in the fact that Valve is now giving more information, but the information is not going to be what you want to hear. And so let's talk about what that information is. This is what they posted on their website. They said, when we launched the Steam controller last month, we quickly saw that initial demand exceeded our expectations. Switching to a reservation queue has hopefully cut down on the headaches on the customer side. And for us, it has also been helpful as we plan ahead to get as many out as quickly as we are able. We have no plans to stop making a Steam controller. Good to hear. But as we look at the current demand compared to how many we know we can make by the end of the year, we want to manage expectations. And as such, we can, with regards to when folks can receive their orders. Starting today, the Steam controller page will show you a time frame by when you can expect to receive your order email based on when you reserved. To keep it simple, one of 3 estimated order windows. By September 2026, so it seems like the soonest that people are going to get them is September 2026. by December 2026 or in 2027. And this is very much what we saw with the shortages of the Steam Deck when that came out. So basically, it's the exact same thing all over again. Valve just cannot make enough of these things. So first off, before I talk to these guys about this, I would love if anybody in the audience could let us know down below, when are your estimated times? If you pre-ordered a Steam controller, or if you just bought one today, what does it say? When is yours coming? Because I'm just very, very curious what everybody's going to be saying about that. All right. So, Russ, first off, they're having a lot of trouble making these Steam controllers. They don't contain any RAM. They don't contain any storage. Why do you think they're taking so long?
Good question. And it's funny, when I was in China just last week, I met with a lot of company, like I met with 8BitDo, for example. They make controllers. I met with other companies who have these connections with the factories and stuff. No one ever said anything about supply chain issues or anything, or else having to be able to make to demand. My guess is it's probably some sort of proprietary or special technology in the Steam controller that's like taking a while to build up. You know what I mean? It's not the buttons. It's not the joysticks. Well, it might be the joysticks, but it's not the mechanical parts that are probably pretty easy to make, but it might be like the track pads or like the special TMR joysticks they are using, which are different than the typical Gillicut ones. And so that's my guess, is it's probably something like that, where it's like some little element in the supply chain is holding up everything else. Like when I met with AYN, that's what they said with the Thor. They said that the Thor was held up because of the screen. It wasn't because they couldn't hire enough people to put them together in time. It's that the screen manufacturer had such a long lead time that it was taking forever. And it was the top screen, not the bottom screen, which was interesting to me too. And that's the same screen as the Odin 3, which also has a delay and like a pre-order thing. So that's like my guess, is that there's some element of the Steam controller that potentially is holding up everything, because I feel like a company as big as Valve, like it's not like they're like, oh, we only have 50 factory employees and we can't go any faster. Like that's not the problem. You know what I mean? Like, and so it must be some sort of supply chain thing is what I would guess.
What do you think, Carrie?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as what Russ is thinking. I think it's along the same lines. I did not know. I always thought it was Gillicut that was they had worked with the TMR stuff. So if they are not working with them, then that's a whole other
I might be misspeaking. I remember I read something or I watched something. It was either Gillicut or K Silver. They make like the majority of the joysticks. Is one of those who make the typical TMR sticks, but they didn't go with those. And so that's like the special unique thing. And so, yeah, that might be the part of it.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, it could be any part of that whole chain of stuff that they have that is very specific. I don't think that it'd be anything else really, unless that they do have a stock of controllers, but they want to have some that are sold with the Steam machine, and they are reserving some. Yeah, they're holding some back, a quantity of those that will be going in concert with those as well.
I wonder if that's going to piss people off, though. I was going to say, I wonder if it's going to piss people off where they're like, I've been waiting on my Steam controller. Now these chumps who bought a Steam machine get it day one. Like I wonder if that's going to be an issue for them, just the optics of it.
I mean, it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. I'm not. Well, I have one, but it took a while for me to get mine, even though I was there within the first minute. It still took like a week for mine to arrive. So I can commiserate with some people, especially if they're really looking forward to the Steam controller because of it's fairly unique and versatile in what it does. So I understand why some people would really want it. But at the same time, for people that are looking forward to the Steam machine, if that is their first entry point really into like having a computer, which may be the case for a fair amount of people that are getting it, having a controller that is like for the console itself is going to be something that they want. So I can understand it.
Yeah.
If I didn't have a Steam controller, I would not buy a Steam machine without a Steam controller. Like I wouldn't want to have one without it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even though we all know that the Steam interface itself hooks up to anything. Like you have a Switch controller, it shows up as a Switch controller, and like even when you take out the Joy-Con, it's just one. It has iconography.
Iconography.
Iconography. Yeah. Thank you. I had the graphic. I was like, how am I iconography? um, it has that all built in for even that. So there's a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff that you can just use, but I don't think that a lot of people understand that it has that, versatility. So I think if they were to buy it without a controller, they're like, well, how am I going to even use it? So I get it. But it isn't necessary insofar as any of the other consoles, but I can understand from people that just don't know. They may be a little bit hesitant if it didn't.
Yeah.
Part of me is wondering if they're doing it this way because they because they're afraid to have inventory on the shelves. They don't want to say, okay, turn on the second assembly line and start building these controllers faster, because they're afraid that they're going to end up having to have a fire sale because suddenly people lose interest and buy something else, and now they have all these controllers that nobody wants. They've been in that situation before,
Right.
and maybe maybe they got to get Carrie's Nintendo guy to figure out exactly how many that they're supposed to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, that FOMO guy, he knows everything, man. That guy's really just one of the bangs on all cylinders. He only had maybe one or two blunders that I can think of, but man, he does a great job.
And then the other reason that I wonder or think that it might be slow is because they are sharing parts and production line maybe with Steam frame controllers. Obviously maybe just the joystick caps or a trackpad. Is there a trackpad on the Steam frame controller?
We saw
I can't
the pictures
remember.
of them just recently from the FCC stuff.
I think that's in the show notes someplace. No, it's not. I got rid of it because it wasn't. I didn't have anything important to say.
I don't think it does have trackpads.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it, but it should have the haptics and all the other stuff that's going to be in there.
Yeah.
So I would wager that there are some competing things that are similar, but some of the molds and stuff I don't think would be the same, because even the D-pad mold is weird. It's like that, right?
Right.
And it wouldn't be like that. So there's but yeah, the innards of the stuff, they might have some competing supply chain problems.
And not only that, but they are currently manufacturing 3 different things. And if they have one partner doing that to make these 3 different things, then that really cuts down on how fast you can make these things.
Yep.
It makes me think if they misjudged the demand for this, how are they going to misjudge the demand for Steam Frame and Steam Machine? That's got to just keep them up at night. How many of these are we supposed to make right now before we launch? You know what I mean? It's really kind of in a crazy position. I'd hate to have to be that crystal ball guy for them.
Yeah, it's a bad time. I said this before, and it really is the Steam Machine is just cursed. At this point, there's less every time they're about to oh, we have a thing, we're calling it Steam Machine, and it's just it's oh, that didn't go well.
I think any other year they probably would have been fine doing this. And when I say this, what I mean is just tell everybody the damn price and put it up for pre-order and say the release date is coming soon, right? And then they would have a little counter that says, oh, well, we have to make this many of this thing.
Right.
And then they make those things and then they start shipping them out. But because they're terrified to say the price and then have the RAM prices go up again, then they're going to be, because then they've already sold it for X number of dollars and now it's X plus 200 more dollars because the prices of everything keeps going up. So the fact that the AI nonsense has, basically taken hold and tied their hands, they can't announce a price until they're really close to release, which by all hands, it seems like we might be really close to release, which we're going to talk about in just a second. You guys have anything else about the Steam controller to talk about?
I will say, I came back home and I just picked up my Steam controller for the first time in a while. And I was like, yeah, this thing is great. You know what I mean? It was one of those where I just picked it up and I was like, all right, I'm back home now. You know what I mean? Like it really, really felt good. And so that was just kind of a neat thing where because I was kind of like middle on it, where I was like, yeah, it's great for what it does and whatnot. But the compatibility thing really annoyed me at first. And so, but yeah, no, I really picking it up, I was like, oh yeah, this is still a great controller.
Are you still daily driving it, Carrie?
Yeah, so I've been I'm in the middle of a bunch of different things right now, so I haven't had the most amount of time to do it. But I did like I do have this. I don't know if, let me see if I can get it for you. 1 second. Hang on. It's gonna be worth it. It's not gonna be worth it.
Can't wait.
It's like attached. It's
Oh, we'll never find out.
it's the AMD DC 250, which has been out before.
Oh,
It was covered before, but it's basically the PS5 APU. But it was heavily locked down and had 24 CUs, and I was like, I don't need 24 CUs for whatever. And then just recently, like a month ago, someone was like, oh, you can unlock all of the CUs on there, and I was like, say again. And I got it for like $150 with 128 gig NAND on there. And I unlocked all 40 CUs and they're all working. So in effect, I have a better PS5 here now. And with the case, I paid $100 with the power supply. So it's $250 is my price built. And I'll be comparing it to the Steam machine. And I'm going to be using the Steam controller on it. So it's like one of those things. It's just like, how is this going to fare against it?
yeah, it sounds so fun.
Yeah, for me, that's still the only controller I use when I play a game on my PC, which
Nice.
is where I play almost all my games. I mean, obviously, on a Switch, on an Xbox, on a PlayStation, I use the proprietary controllers that go with that, or third party on the Nintendo Switch too, because I don't really care for the Joy-Cons all that much. But just this morning, I sat down this morning and I was playing. Have you guys tried Over the Hill?
No, not yet.
Mm-mm.
Okay, there's a demo. You guys definitely want to try it. It's so good. I was playing that this morning with the Steam controller. Immediately, one of the things that you do in the game is you have to click the right stick and then use the left stick to choose like your tools. And I was like, oh, hell no, that's going to be a trackpad. So then I went into Steam Input and readjusted things to make it so it was much more just easy to access the tools that you need. But that game is so good, and it's a vibe when you're playing. It's cozy, and like there's this twangy soundtrack playing in the background as you're driving over these hills. And for anybody who hasn't seen it, you are just in an off-road car. You're not racing. You're just trying to traverse across the area and find different stuff. So like you bring up your map and there's like a little question mark, and you put a pin and you're going to go drive towards that question mark and see what it is. And sometimes it's a new piece of cosmetic for your car, or it's a trail that you have to follow from, till the end. It's a really, really cool game. And there's a free demo out right now. I think because of Steam Next Fest, or maybe it was just because the game was already going to had a demo. But definitely check that out. But I was, back to the controller. That's what I was playing it on, and because I had the trackpads, just instantly, I didn't like this one thing that the game did, and I was able to change it, and that's just always awesome.
Nice.
All right, let's talk about the Steam Machine. Pre-order date seems like it is right around the corner. This comes from Tech Times. They said Valve's two long-awaited hardware products, the Steam Machine living room console and the Steam Frame standalone VR set, are closer to reaching consumers than at any other point since they are announced since November 2025, something that you could say every single day. According to the report from Game GPU published on June 13th, Valve plans to announce retail pricing soon and open pre-orders between June 22nd and June 30th, and benchmark review hardware has already landed in the hand of selected media and content creators. Nobody on this show.
Nope.
Not that we're bitter or anything, but nobody on this show. We're just letting you know. We've seen the pictures of the boxes out there. We've seen the Geekbench scores have leaked because people are, running Geekbench on it. So it seems like maybe on June 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we might be able to start doing those reservations. which is right around the corner. I mean, that's 4 days from now. That's next Tuesday. Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday is what I heard. Yes.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
it's next
23rd,
Tuesday. Well, what do you guys think, Russ?
I think it's coming very soon because didn't they say it was coming this summer?
Yes.
And so yeah, I feel like it's coming very soon. I mean, just the amount of hype and everything coming up about it, and yeah, I think the signs are pointing. I mean, we've seen a bunch of shipments over the past few months and stuff too. It's coming. It obviously did not hit our Memorial Day prediction, but I'm okay with June 30th or 22nd or whatever.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm actually kind of happy that, well, at least I didn't get a review unit of it. Only because I have way too much stuff. Like, coming back and then the 3 days of like jet lag, I would get back from work, just regular work, and I was like exhausted, and I would like start like doing multiple things at the same time, and then I'm trying to do stuff and just get data and capture video and do this and do that, and it was pretty much a drag, and I was like, I need to like focus on one thing. And then yesterday I banged out like, I want to say like 80% of the benchmarks that I needed to get done. I mean, I still have some automated ones, literally ones that are going right now, but yeah, I kind of need not to have the Steam machine. Like, I'm actually kind of happy that I don't have it.
So, and one more piece of evidence that points the way towards a possibility of the Steam machine coming next week is SteamOS 3.8 just went to the public, not beta anymore, the stable channel. That's the word I was looking for. And, the second line in there is initial support for upcoming Steam machine hardware. We've seen that for quite a long time in the beta channels and in the preview channels, but now it's in the stable channel. And I think that that's like all of these different things all coming at the same time tells me it's right around the corner. And I can't wait to find out more about it, but still we don't know the price. And I don't want to sit here and speculate about the price yet again, because we've done that 1,000 times. But, you guys can feel free to let us know what you think the price is going to be in the comments down below. Let me ask you a question, though. If you don't get a review unit, because none of us have review units, if you don't get a review unit, are you still buying one if it's more than $1,000? Because I'm not.
I mean, I'll buy one, but then I'll just sell it after literally, and no matter what I buy it for, I'd probably sell it afterwards. But if it was over $1,000, I'd probably like really race through it and then resell it as fast as I possibly could.
You might not have to hurry, though, Carrie, because I'm sure, just like the Steam controller, they ain't going to have enough.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to have to, like, do, like, the minute of, and then wait, like, a week for that to come in for me to then review it. Most of my angle is going to be, like, I really feel bad for, well, hockey. They're fine. Nothing bad is going to happen for Valve. Yeah. But it is really bad timing for them to be doing this. And I don't think that this is, like... This price is going to make or break it. I still have strong feelings of what it should be, and we've talked about it to death. Yeah. But as we know how bad things are, it is going to put it in the stratosphere of, like you said, if it's over $1,000, you're like, well, why would I do that? Like, I like it and everything, but I need to, like, have some principles.
It's not principles. It's if I buy it and it's over $1,000, there's going to be a bill-shaped hole in the wall.
Yeah, I mean,
my wife looks at the balance on our income, and she's like, "What the hell is this?" So no.
Yeah, I probably will. I'll probably will buy it regardless. Just because I feel like how the Steam Deck kind of like came into its own over the months. I want to kind of be there for that with the Steam machine too. So like playing around with emulation, playing around with all sorts of other stuff on it. Beyond just making videos about it, I just kind of want to be there as part of that too. Even though I've got several computers that would do just as good of a job, if not better, I do want to kind of be part of that. So I probably will end up buying it regardless. And I don't know, it's probably going to be very painful, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a game called Place Your Bets. We have not played this game in a while. For those of you who have not seen this before, basically earlier today, I put a post on my YouTube channel over at youtube.com/NerdNest. And I said, hey, give us two things, make us choose between them. We're going to bet on which thing we think is more likely to happen. I picked a couple of them out, and while we're talking about these, I'm going to go because I only had two because I was making the show notes earlier, and then my grandkids got here, so I was downstairs hanging out with them. So I'll see if I can find a link, or I'll go find more while we're talking about this. But basically, we got two in here so far from Darkness Eclipse. Said this. They said most of the games released in September and October before GTA 6 will have low sales, or GTA 6 will fly too close to the sun and be a moderate success. What do you guys think is more likely to happen? Carrie, you shaking your head.
There's no way that I don't see GTA 6 being just a crazy success. And like in my head, I'm like, I am fully bracing myself for them to charge $99 for the standard edition and for them to still sell like gangbusters. So that's where I am. So whatever GTA 6 is going to sell like crazy, I don't think that it will impact. Maybe it will, but it feels like it does a bit. Like Saros didn't sell very well on PS5, and that surprises me a bit. So I do have to wonder, is everyone just really feeling the heat of just the economy as it is, and everyone's just pulling back just in general? So it'll be interesting to see, like Wolverine. For me, I feel Wolverine is going to sell well. It's a game that people love Wolverine, and it's going to be a pretty good game. So I have a feeling that should sell relatively well. So I don't know how to answer this because I feel like things will still kind of sell pretty good, but maybe less than they would have otherwise. So probably that one.
Okay. What about you, Russ?
I think if between the two choices, either the game's having low sales before or the GTA 6 is going to be only a moderate success, I think it's so hard to predict what's going to happen with the GTA 6 because I think that just in my mind, when I think about a huge launch or a huge thing within the culture, usually something happens within that changes like the narrative, that people start talking about other things related to it. So think about like what do they call that? The hot coffee thing with San Andreas, right?
Oh,
like
right.
There's some sort of thing that's going to pop up as an element of the game or some sort of thing. And then all the news articles and coverage are going to start talking about that crazy thing or whatever. And so I feel like how that goes and whether or not it's a good or a bad thing within that can really kind of dictate a really huge launch like this. I don't think it's going to be as simple as GTA 6 good or bad, buy it or not. I think it's so many people are so invested in it that it's going to create its own like ecosystem of news and controversy. So I don't know how it's going to actually fall out, but my guess is that I think that September, October games will probably have diminished sales because people are saving their money for it. But that's just like a random guess, like I don't see myself hearing about a great game in September, October, and then not buying it because I want to buy, GTA 6. But I don't think we're typical buyers and users of these video games anymore.
Yeah.
That's my take.
It's super hard to really figure out, right? Like I'm not sure. I feel like everyone's kind of feeling the heat, just generally. Because when I talk about prices and stuff, even there's a lot of pushback on the general sentiment of Xbox Helix and PS6 coming out next year. There's a lot of pushback from people that are just like, they need to delay this thing. To what end, I'm not sure. I don't think it's getting delayed, but I feel like people understand that these prices are going to be in the stratosphere for them, and then they're going to like either participate or feel left out, and it's going to put some hardships on people. So I don't know. It's a really weird time. 2026 has been a thing.
There were technical difficulties again. Riverside, get your shit together. There were technical difficulties during that, but I heard everything that you guys said, and then as soon as I went to talk, I was apparently not there anymore. So I have two questions, or I have two thoughts. Number one, when I look at these two choices, I think that there's a 0% chance. There is a less than 0% chance. I think it's a negative % chance that GTA will be a moderate success. I think that GTA will be a massive success no matter what the reviews say, no matter how much it costs. This game is so highly anticipated that people are not going to wait for reviews, and people are going to sell a kidney if they have to in order to get this thing. So I don't think that there's any chance that it is just a moderate success, which means I think that most of the games released in September and October will have low sales compared to what they would have otherwise. Now, is there any way to verify this? Obviously not, because we can't split the timeline into two things and go see what would have happened if GTA 6 didn't launch, So we'll never know. However, I have a different question that I want to ask that I just thought of. What about after GTA 6? GTA 6 comes out in November, right? November?
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
What about the games that are coming out in December? Are those going to be massively impacted by the fact that everybody is currently playing GTA 6, which is a massive open world game where you can probably play for quite a long time without having to, it's not a 20-hour game. You know what I mean? It's probably a huge game that you can play forever.
The online component is probably going to be heavily pushed.
Yeah, but I think Paris was on the show a couple weeks ago, and he reminded us that the online component will come after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it like Red Dead 2, just a massive game that people were just into, and you just didn't hear anything for a long time after that, other than that game. Elden Ring, I think, had a similar kind of trajectory where it was just like, that's it. Like the gamers were playing those games. And I can see this happening again with GTA 6.
Yeah.
I don't know as far as like, the longevity and like how much people are going to want to keep playing, but yeah, I can definitely see that impacting later sales. It's November 19th, though, like right before Thanksgiving and then the holiday rush. I don't know how many people are going to be like on the market to get another game. I think this feels like the holiday game of the year.
Yeah. I also just think about YouTube and Twitch. It's just going to be nonstop.
Right.
Every day is just going to be something else that someone's doing. It's just going to hog the airwaves. For me, I don't think anything is like, is there anything big coming out in December? Like, I know Fable got delayed till February just because there's
I mean, we don't know for sure, but I'm assuming Ocarina of Time is a December release.
Oh. Yeah, but Nintendo is like Nintendo, right? Like they'll just do whatever they're going to do.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that they're going to delay it. What I'm saying is, are people going to be less likely to pick that up because they just spent, I don't know, $100 on GTA?
No, I mean, like, again, the Nintendo guy already knows what he's doing, so he knows how much is going to sell. So he's already figured that out. That's already pre-planned. And they're going to sell out when everyone got that minus 10%. And then you're going to have those 10% just like every day, like trying to get it. It'll be fine. That guy's got to figure out.
Yeah, so I'm looking at just like a Wikipedia page that shows like anticipated games in December, and it's just like Dragon Quest Monsters, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for Switch 2. Yeah. Like that's the only ones I see that are listed.
3?
Yeah, like the Switch 2 version of that game.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the new Xenoblade Chronicles game.
I mean, there's a whole list of those that are just says Q4, but that's it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you, Darkness Eclipse, for sending in that question. We got another question came in from Wyatt Downey. They said Final Fantasy 17 will be announced before Kingdom Hearts 4 is released.
When is Kingdom Hearts 4 releasing?
I don't think we know a release date, but they just showed us. Right? Yeah, they gave us a trailer. Yeah. And everybody was mad about the art style being different than it used to be, which I can understand. But they gave us a trailer. I don't think we have a you know what? I'm going to look it up.
So Final Fantasy 17 will be announced before Kingdom Hearts 4 releases.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say true to that.
They say, okay, so according to Google's AI slop, it says between late 2027 and early 2028.
Yeah.
For Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah. They've got to have been working on it for a while, but you know how like they always do that, right? Like, I mean, The Last Guardian was like announced when? It was like 2008, right? And it didn't come out. So like it was supposed to come out for PS3 and it came out during the PS4.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be like one of those.
Yeah, it's been a while for. I remember Kingdom Hearts 3. I think of that as a pandemic game because it came out before that. I think in 2019, but it wasn't until the pandemic that like we really my kids and I played that one. So it's been a while for that one, 6 years. And the thing with Final Fantasy is it's not like the Final Fantasy 16 team was like, all right, we're done. Let's start working on 17. Like that's not how it works, right? They got multiple teams. They're like churning ahead with multiple. I'm sure 18 is in like, early stages of development at this point too. So yeah, I would say we're probably going to get an announcement of Final Fantasy 17 here before that.
Right now I'm looking up. Okay, so the release date for Final Fantasy 15 was in November 2016, and now I'm going to look for Final Fantasy 16, and that was 2023. So
8 years.
8 years. So 2023 plus 8.
It's 2031.
2031.
Dang.
But
Dang.
that's release, not announcement.
Right.
So
Right.
that's different.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to get announced before Kingdom Hearts 4 gets released.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Final Fantasy 17 will be announced before Kingdom Hearts 4 is released. So let us know what you guys think. Yeah.
When does 7, whatever they're calling it, what's the new
Next
rebirth?
year.
That's next year.
Revolution?
Revelation.
Revelation.
So
Is that what
I
it
would
is?
say it's probably going to be after that comes out. You know what I mean? Like they're going to kind of wait
Revelation.
and be like, all right, let's not distract people. Buy this one first, kind of thing.
Which I can't wait for. I'm super excited for that. Like that was the thing at not the Game Awards. What the hell was it? Summer Games Fest. That was the thing at Summer Games Fest that I was like mostly anticipating seeing. And then that was the last thing in Summer Games Fest. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that.
Right? They updated Rebirth, so now you can like just have 9999 hits when you kill people. Like they just they turned on an easy mode basically.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just want to get
Story
through
mode,
it
yeah.
so that you can like basically be ready for the next one. And so I may take advantage of that just because I don't know if I have time to play 100 hours of that game. So
yeah, it's a big game. I don't think it's a 100-hour game, but it's definitely a big game. And, you're the one who always turns on cheats anyway. So it's going to be perfect for you to just do the 9,999 hits.
Yeah, I will say, though, I don't know if we're going to talk about what we're playing, but Mina the Hollower, if you guys haven't played that, it has the ability to tweak every little thing. You'd be like, you know what? I want to have 150% more health or whatever, and you can tailor it. And so I thought initially, I'm like, oh, I'll just turn all this on and, like really whip butt, but I ended up really like being kind of judicious about it. And I really like that amount of customizability. So that was really cool.
And yes, we will talk about the games that we've been playing later on in the show. What were you saying, Kerry?
Do they give bonuses or anything for making it harder or reduce anything for making it easier?
I don't know about bonuses, but I know that if you turn on any of them or certain ones, then they're like, oh, you can no longer get their version of trophies or achievements. So
right.
Yeah. So I definitely hit that threshold.
One of the things that Bethesda did with Starfield that I really loved was like the further you went into like the survival part of the game, whereas like actually you are in space, so monitor your air and stuff, like, which is too much. But there was some things like I had made the game significantly harder in a bunch of different ways, and I got like a 50% experience bonus from just making the game harder for myself, and I was like, that's cool.
I like that.
And yeah, and in some ways I like toned it down, so I was like, I don't want my ammo to have weight, because I will be encumbered at all times.
Yeah.
There's like certain things I like that, and when I make that less, it actually subtracts my EXP bonus. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fair. Like, yeah, all right,
let me risk and reward, basically.
Yeah,
exactly.
I really liked what they did there. I still am not the biggest fan of like level scaling, but with what they did, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I gave you guys a link to the post so you guys can see other things that people have said if you look in Discord. But I'm going to scroll through and find another one real quick. Okay, here's one. Spencer Walker says Valve will drop a Steam Machine bare bones model before GTA 6. I'm just going to answer that. Not a chance. I don't see any world in which Valve releases a bare bones model. And write it down. I'm placing my bet. Not happening. They're not going to do it.
I'd love to see it, but yeah, I agree. I don't think I'm going to see it.
Carrie?
I'm looking. The one thing we already messed up on this, it says, will you for once not discuss the prices of whatever device? Or the other way around, can you please for once assume every one of us was rich enough not to care?
I mean,
sorry, we already did that.
Okay. You know what? I want to talk about that real quick because I usually, when I talk about a device or something that whatever it is, if it's hardware, if it's software, whatever it is, I usually don't talk about price because, well, first off, we already know the price. And that's probably why we're talking about the price of this so much is because there's speculation, right? And then price increases makes that's newsworthy. So we talk about that too. But when I review something, I usually don't discuss the price because everybody's in a different situation. And so I never like to say this is too expensive. I might say this is too expensive for me, or this is not too expensive for me. But I don't like just declaratively saying this is too expensive. Russ, when you review stuff, do you think of the price as one of the things that is part of your review, or are you more like me where you're like, I let people decide on the price on their own because they have their own situations?
Yeah, no, price is like instrumental for me. Like price is almost everything. And so it is definitely like it goes in my likes and dislikes column if it's something that stands out, you know. And then also I always will compare it. I'm sorry, I got sirens, but I always compare it against what else is available at a similar like kind of power or price point. That's really important to me too. So yeah, I definitely factor in price in the same way that I would anything else. And it bites me in the butt sometimes because prices will change. So I'll make this video like, this thing is such a good value, and then it's no longer a value. You know, like when I was whining about the price of the Legion Go 2 when it first came out, and now it's like, man, I wish we had that price back. And that's just kind of how things are.
That reminds me of this, the newest Nook from Asus that they sent me. Like when I was making my video, I was under the impression that it was going to cost $2,500. And then they sent me a message after my video was done. So I had to do an insert that it was going to be 4,000. And then I don't know, like I think the price is no longer going to be 4,000. It's now much lower. I think it's 2,800, which is still very expensive, but still it's not 4,000, you know what I mean? So like the price just keeps going all over the damn place, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Bob Wolf does a great job about that too. Like for him, a price is like the start of the conversation. You know, he'll just get mad at a price, you know, and I think that's fair, you know. But yeah, he's very good with that too.
I mean, I say the price. I just don't usually say if I think it's too expensive or not too expensive.
Right.
Yeah. For me, it's always I have a very good barometer of objectively looking at whatever something else is and saying, okay, I know what this costs and I know what you get out of this, and this is here. And then I kind of frame it in that type of sense often. And that's why I've always been pushing the Steam Machine as I have. So yeah, it's that is a thing that I often do, but I also, like for me, like even the GPD Win 5, right? Crazy expensive when it came out. It was like $1,600, but there was nothing else on the market that did what it did. And from that perspective, yes, it's very expensive, but if you want the best handheld that was out at the time, that was the price. And, you know, trying to frame it from that. Now that everything else rose in price, now that GPD Win 5 is looking like an even better buy compared to a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, I'm still happy with what I said about the GPD Win 5, like especially what I know about stuff coming out, knowing that we're not going to get something better until late 2027, early 2028. So it's like, if you're looking to get something right now that's going to last you a minimum of 2 years, because there's literally nothing. I mean, I said Intel was coming, but I gave all the information that they had. So it's really like that. It's like, I view it from that angle. I am on both sides, where I can appreciate something if it's worth a bunch, if it's unique, and it's something that's the only way that you can get it. But if it's not the only way that you can get it, I'm going to compare it against something that, you know, already has a value.
So whoever sent that comment in, sorry, we ended up talking about price for like a whole little segment there.
Yeah.
It's your fault for bringing it up.
No,
Yeah. Can you please not do that? Oh, well, let me just go into it.
that's all my fault, but that's okay. Hey, Russ, did you find any comments that you wanted to throw in there?
Yeah, there's a couple. Let's do this one. So Project Helix releases in 2027, or Xbox pushes it back to 2028 or later. So it's really a single question, but they're like, on time
right.
or late kind of thing.
I'll go first. It's going to be on time. Also, PlayStation 6 is going to be on time, and the PlayStation 6 handheld. Both of them late 2027.
What an optimistic guy.
I know.
Both Sony and Xbox are competing, right? You say, well, PlayStation just demolishes them, and they have. This generation is 100% in the, like, PlayStation is, like, for sure the winner of that. But the PlayStation does not want Xbox, especially knowing that it's going to be better and far more versatile and coming out early. Like, oh, yes, it's going to be expensive, but it's not going to be that much. It's not, the price difference isn't going to be that big of a difference between PS6. So if that comes out and just has runway to itself, they do not want another Xbox 360, because Xbox 360 had a whole year before PS3 even came out, and then PS3 was $200 more expensive. Like, Microsoft could not have had a better time. So I do not see that happening. So I think Microsoft wants to still come out on that date because they've already planned and got contracts and everything else, as well as Sony does not want to give them that benefit. So both of them are coming out November 2027.
And we haven't seen a direct, like, since the 360 era, right? Every launch has been mostly the same. Like, when they came out with PS4, came out with PS5, it was along the same lines as the other ones. So, yes, I agree that we haven't seen a first-to-launch advantage since the 360, and we just haven't seen that, but I feel like it would still be a thing today. And so I agree, but I wonder if they're going to, like, they got a red phone. They're going to pick it up, like, all right, finally, we got to talk to them, like the Soviets and the Americans, right? And they're like, all right, we got to call them. And they're like, hey, how about 2028? You know what I mean? And they, like, make their own agreement between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. Like,
agree to delay it,
I think that's illegal, though, isn't it?
The collusion? I don't
wouldn't work there.
I don't. So in any event, like, both times for PlayStation, right? PlayStation 4, you have to remember that the Xbox One, they wanted to have the same advantage that the 360 had, was having more available RAM, so more VRAM, even though it's shared RAM, they wanted to have more. So that's why Xbox went with DDR3, because that was the only thing that they knew that they could source to get 8 gigabytes. And PlayStation was sticking with GDDR, and they did not even know up to the day that they were going to have 8 gigs. Even devs didn't know. In the 11th hour, PS4 got 8 gigs of GDDR. And that alone, like, kind of sealed the deal, along with all the other missteps that Microsoft did in that generation. Sure. But that one performance thing, not only it made the PlayStation 4 better than the Xbox One and $100 cheaper, and they didn't have all that other messaging nonsense that, like, it was such a blunder. It was unreal. And then you look at the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The PS5, especially if you look at memory bandwidth and the initial frequency clocks of the GPU, the 2.23 gigahertz was an 11th hour change from the PS5, so that they can more match what the Xbox Series X teraflop count was, so that they didn't have such a drastic difference. So I wonder what PS6 and PS6 handheld are going to do versus what they already know what the Helix is going to do, I mean, generally speaking. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't see them giving Microsoft the runway. Just like, yeah, go ahead. We're not going to participate. We already know. I think PlayStation definitely has their own customers, and they will just wait. That's me. I think that'll just happen, especially with everything else. But I don't think Sony feels very confident to let that happen.
Yeah.
So I have two answers. My first answer is what do I think will happen, and then my second is what should happen. And in my opinion, what will happen is they will both release on time. I'm using air quotes because we don't really know when on time is. but I think that they should both delay. This generation feels like it just got started, and asking gamers to buy another box that now is very, very expensive in this economy is, I think, is just a bad move. So I don't think that they should bring them out.
Well, so the only thing I want to just address is that the PlayStation 4 just recently got like deprecated. Like Call of Duty Warzone just was like, actually, we're not going to support the PS4 anymore. So that just recently happened. So just because there was a very long cross-gen thing here. So just because these new consoles come out does definitely not represent that they will just not pay attention to PS5. I guarantee you that PS5, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X versions still come out.
Sure. It'll be very much like the Nintendo Switch 2, where Mr. Furukawa, I believe it was him that said, when we talked about this on an episode a few weeks ago, I don't remember when, but basically said, look, we need to make sure that people can still buy our games, and people might not be able to afford a Nintendo Switch 2 with the way the economy is. So we're going to make sure that as many of the games that we can release on both the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2, if that's an option, that's what we're going to do. And I am obviously paraphrasing here. But I mean, you're right. They could just do a really long cross-gen cross-generation lead time. And that's a really good point. But I feel like if they do bring them out, they better make very few of them, because they're not going to sell very well.
Yeah, like that. The amount that they're going to have to do, they need Nintendo's guy.
Everybody needs Nintendo's guy. All right. I found another one. This one where it's, what will release first? Half-Life 3 or the next core Elder Scrolls game?
All right. Elder Scrolls 6, I think it's unfortunate. I don't think it's going to be a launch title for Helix. I think it's going to be 2028. So Half-Life 3, which we all thought was coming with Steam Machine, right?
Right.
So that has to be sooner. Oof.
Man, I thought it was coming with a Steam controller.
Do you still think it's coming? Like, look, we're supposed to be able to pre-order this thing next week. Do you really think that they're going to announce Half-Life 3 next week?
I think now is like, they should totally do it in 2026, because you have GTA 6 and Half-Life 3. It's like, like it should just happen.
An Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. It's like, dude, like, yes.
And Halo and Gears of War. It's the 90s all over again, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to say yes. Half-Life 3 is coming out before Elder Scrolls 6.
I feel like Russ? I feel like they're ready already. Like it's already ready. They're just figuring out when to drop it. That's what I feel like they are, just because of all the little shadow things we've heard over the years, as opposed to Elder Scrolls, where if it was going along better, they would tell us, but Half-Life 3 is like shrouded in secrecy. So that's my take on it, is that we will see Half-Life 3 first. I don't know when, it would really make it feel a lot better about that Steam Machine price if they also announce that game at the same time and throw it in for free, like do something like that. And that would really soften the blow. So I don't know.
It would. Part of me wonders if we've seen so many leaks about Half-Life 3. And part of me just wonders if maybe they're all wrong. Maybe it's always because there's some code there's string in the code that's HLX, and everybody's like, that's Half-Life 3. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's, I don't know, hilarious Longhorn X-rays or something. I have no idea.
Well, so the last Half-Life, Alex, was specifically a VR game, so it was like literally a game that was just, and they didn't even care. They're like, okay, we'll still have we made the index, we're making this game for there. Perhaps there's some combo of like Steam Deck, Steam Machine, Steam Frame that you need to actually play Half-Life 3 like successfully. Like the only way that you could possibly play this game is by needing all this hardware, which further just makes it like how many people could actually play it. I don't know. It's hard to say. I do feel like Steam Frame, especially with the foveated rendering and the adapter coming with it, and the Steam Machine supporting it, suggests to me that there might be some like cool thing where you're going into Steam Frame versus your TV or whatnot or what have you. Maybe there's some. I don't know. I have zero clue how that would work. But there always seemed to be like, especially from the documentary, they were going on about there has to be something. There has to be a reason that you play Half-Life 3. And I wonder what they would make or do.
Yeah. Well, that's our answer. Carrie, did you find one that wasn't telling us to shut up?
Yeah, there was one that I liked. If Steam, or who's this? If Steam Frame, most of the games released. I wanted to get the person. Oh yeah, there it is, Mr. B 1130. If Frame and Machine release on the same day, which sells out first? This could be even minutes, right?
Ooh.
But minutes or whatever. Which one sells out first?
Okay, I'm going to go first. I think Frame sells out first because they're going to make fewer of them because it's VR and VR is niche. And listen, if you're a VR nut, don't yell at me in the comments because I think it's niche. It's freaking niche. That doesn't mean it's bad. That just means it's not for everybody. Okay? So, you know what? Yell at me in the comments because that's engagement.
In fact, do it more.
Yeah, yell all you want.
All right, so I would say we as a panel are very biased against the Steam Frame just because we are more Steam Machine leaning folks. You know what I mean? Like we're living room players, we're PC players and stuff. So I think we've all kind of just talked about how VR has been a struggle for each of us to really kind of make it fit. And so that being said, I still think the Steam Machine is going to sell more, and I agree that I think that the Frame will probably have fewer numbers. So yeah, for both reasons, I think that the Steam Machine will probably sell out first, just because of demand.
Okay. But on the other hand, there's people who, like, a ton of Steam customers already have a PC, and they don't need a Steam Machine. But I mean, the options for a good VR headset are, I'm not going to say they're few and far between.
You know literally, what I mean? There are other ones, but I think if you really come down to it, it's Quest 3. And Quest 3 for their wireless side kind of sucks. You really need a lot of setup. So Steam Frame offers this wireless thing that could offer this very turnkey solution of being able to play your Steam games streaming from whatever PC you have to your Steam Frame. That's what I am really excited about myself specifically, is being able to just quickly jump into my host PC playing and streaming that to my Steam Frame. So that's what I care about the most. I actually care far more about the Steam Frame just because I already have way more, like literally surrounding me, I have better Steam, my machines that are better than the Steam Machine. So I just care about it more just for like content stuff, right? But for other people, I think more people care about the Steam Machine, which is why I think Steam Machine will sell out first just because of volume, like people going for it, even if they'll have less Steam Frames available.
Right, and that's the way I'm thinking. The way I keep imagining that everybody has a living room, for the most part, and everyone could do with a Steam Machine there, and not many people do that. For VR people, like how many people are like, I want VR, but I don't want to use Oculus Quest. I don't want to, all the other options that are available to me aren't enough, and I know enough about VR to know that this is the one that I want. I feel like that's a really small population compared to people who have a living room. They're like, oh, yeah, I could just use this instead of an Xbox kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. I think we do one more. Russ, you got another one? You said you had more than one.
Yeah, what was the other one though? Where was that? Yeah, I can't find it now. Hold on. Well, I saw a funny one. It said, how long are you going to pretend to not have a review unit? That was good.
At least one more episode.
Yeah, the other one I had was the Half-Life 3 Elder Scrolls one. So we already talked about that one. So yeah, I don't really have anything else.
All right. So I'm just looking through real quick to see if there's any others.
A lot of people did not follow your instructions. I will say that right now, because a lot of these are just like
why
they didn't answer it.
Here's the reason why. That's my fault, because when I posted it, I gave instructions, but I didn't give an example. Most of the time when I post these place your bets or whatever little game we're playing, I always give an example. And then I was just like, I was typing it up and I heard my grandkids downstairs and I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this up and then go. And then I was like, I couldn't think of one. So I didn't give an example for people to use, but whatever. It was fun discussion.
No, this is fun. So here's one. This is just kind of silly, but so this is from Jeannie Love. It says Gears of War E-Day comes to PS5 or Xbox shuts down. And I think it's funny because they're very extreme examples, right? You can only pick one. It's either coming to PS5 or Xbox is just shutting down.
Yeah, I think
neither one of those are happening.
Neither one will happen. If anything, Microsoft will sell Xbox to somebody else, probably Tencent, and then we'll all be even more pissed off than we are now.
That's like, that thought is like preposterous, because buying Xbox, I think, is like $130 billion or like $140 billion, because it's Activision, Bethesda, and then all of Microsoft. Like, it's just this crazy, like, who's going to buy it? Like, I don't know anyone, like Tencent or whoever. They're just going to be like, nah. Right. Yeah.
It was kind of cool. When I was in China, I went and I visited Acme. So they're just like a third-party publisher, or not publisher, a third-party distributor.
The company that does all the Coyote stuff?
Yes.
No, Acme's, N-E-S. But they,
okay.
So they distribute like 8-bit dough stuff. And so like when you go on Amazon, when you type in 8-bit dough, it's either going to be from them or from Acme's. Like, it's like, that's how it works. Anyway,
okay.
Like an official distributor. Anyway, the building they're in is the building where Tencent first got started. So there's a plaque on the wall, and it was like, this is where and it's like just this kind of rundown building. I didn't put it in my video just because I was like, it looks kind of bad. But yeah, kind of neat though that I was in the building where Tencent first got started.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, let's hey, thank you guys for sending in your questions for us, or whatever you want to call those. I guess they're not questions, but that was always a fun discussion when we get to play one of those games. I want to move on and talk about Microsoft's Bloodbath. Last week we talked about Microsoft. You guys weren't on the show because you were traveling, but it was me, Rich, and Jimmy, and we talked about the fact that Microsoft had only a 3% margin, which is crazy low, and that it cannot continue that way. Well, here we are with yet another shoe dropping. Everybody expected this, specifically 3 shoes. Jason Schreier, I don't know how to say his name. He says, breaking several Xbox studios, including Compulsion, Ninja Theory, and Double Fine, are negotiating with Xbox as they try to avoid closure. Some or all could spin off. And then The Verge had posted later on, Xbox is closing down Ninja Theory, the studio behind the Hellblade series, which they just announced a new Hellblade game. They told The Verge that staffers were told on a call on Monday, and we're recording this on Friday, about the closure, and they're hoping that the studio will find a buyer. So, Compulsion, Ninja Theory, Double Fine. I remember seeing a post on Blue Sky from Double Fine where they were just like wiping the sweat away, or they were shrugging. I wasn't sure what that meant. Like, does that mean that they're safe or that they're not safe? Or that there's
like a sweat smile.
Yeah.
It's like, whoo.
Right. What does that tell you, though, Carrie? Does that tell you that they avoided disaster, or does that tell you that they're just bracing for disaster?
Yeah, I think like it. Well, so Jason Schreier did a video of like why all the bad things of like what's going on, why Xbox is in such a bad shape, and the video is kind of not great because he literally just says everything that, I guess, if you were just not paying attention at all to video games, he was just like, Don Matrick ruined a bunch of stuff. Phil Spencer tried to correct it. They tried to do the Netflix of Game Pass. Then they just went and said, make all this stuff because all of your wacky stuff will just be more content for us. Then they had, it was just like all the stuff that everyone already knows. But in there, specifically, Jason Schreier at the end said, technically there has not been anything declarative. Like it's very up in the air right now of what's going on. So the bottom line is like Jason Schreier was saying like all this stuff that people are saying is they heard it first from that. Like they didn't have any, like, Microsoft didn't come to them first. They heard these studios closing from social media.
Right.
So that's what that was about. So I feel from what Jason Schreier said is that there may be talks going on, but it's still unclear. It does super suck because 100% that is an Xbox fault. Like, I understand. It's very nice. It's like, it is exactly what we all asked for. We said, hey, game studios, actually don't force crunch. Let them be creative. Don't press them. And then they did that. And now it's like, oh, they made stuff that no one actually cares about. And that's why they're going under. Like, it's like, well, why'd you guys do that? And it's like, that kind of sucks. But yeah, you look at what Double Fine's output. I liked Keeper. I didn't play Kill 'Em. But
anyone?
Keeper is not a game. Yeah, I don't think anyone did. But I mean, like, they definitely had an allowance to pitch these games that definitely wouldn't have been greenlit from any publisher ever, because they knew they would have lost money on it. And for Game Pass, it was like, this is a wacky game that could be on Game Pass. Just do it because we need that content. And now they're paying the price for that, which sucks. So yeah, it's I don't know which way it's going to go, but there's a lot of rumbling. What's his name? George Broussard. He was with 3D Realms.
Oh, okay.
And he's hearing from people that there's actually cuts in Bethesda land, so Machine Games and id. And if there's any layoffs in that with like Indiana Jones and all the Doom games, I'm gonna riot. I'm gonna, like,
Yeah, because those are good.
Yeah, it's like, whoa. What are we doing here, guys? You can't just start, slashing and burning a bunch of, like, greats. Like, Indiana Jones is fantastic.
Yeah.
Doom the Dark Ages, also Doom Eternal, and they had a pretty fast cadence of stuff that they're coming out with. It's not like they were not really producing stuff, and those are cool games. So I don't know. It's like, you basically just have to wait and see, but for sure, that there is a general bloodbath coming for a lot of these studios, because this is a lot of quarters are ending, and also not just gaming wise, but other industry wise, there's been layoffs that have been happening. So it's just, it is what it is.
Real quick, I want to, in defense of Jason Schreier, I think there is always a place for a video that just kind of sums everything up. Because even though you know it and I know it and Russ knows it, there's so many people out there that don't pay close attention to this stuff, and they might need an explainer. So I think that's perfectly fine.
I do want to thank you for bringing that up. I am not trying to discredit Jason Schreier at all. Like, the reason that video is doing so well, and also, like, he just started his YouTube channel, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and he's already up to like 80K subscribers. That is a testament to his reputation of, finding stories and then talking about them, and he's why we have a lot of this information.
Yeah.
So my mindset going in there was, Jason Schreier has the inside info, and then I watched the 33-minute video of him just saying things we already knew, and I was like, oh, all right, I didn't need 33. This didn't need to be 33 minutes. That was my take from it. Not that, yes, I do agree with you, but that's for other people that didn't watch it. That's the Cliff Notes version of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Russ, what do you think, man?
Well, I keep honing in on Ninja Theory. One of my favorite studios. I really loved a lot of their older games, Heavenly Sword, Enslaved Odyssey of the West. I have tolerated Hellblade. It's probably the best way of saying it. Like, it's a game that's visually very cool, and I play through it as much as I can before I just kind of fall off. I've never finished the first one, waiting to play the second one until I finish the first one. And then when I saw the third one, I was like, come on, guys, can you do something different? Like, all that talent and all the cool, like, stop motion stuff that you guys do, or video capture stuff, do it on something else. Like, do something new, please. And that's kind of what I've been hoping for. So I'm like mixed feelings about it, where with Ninja Theory, I'm like, it really sucks for them. They're invested in this character. They're invested in this story and stuff. They want to make this third one. But then the other part of me is like, hopefully they'll be like, you know what, maybe we just won't make another Hellblade game and we'll make something else, like that's kind of what I'm hoping for, at least from that, because I've always had faith in these guys and in the games that they make and stuff. But it's kind of like with Bungie, where I'm like, okay, cool, you made Marathon, now make the game I want to play. So that's kind of where I feel about them, is that I'm hoping that this is some sort of kick in the pants for either Microsoft or these guys. My other thought is that I really wish that Xbox in general could be Microsoft's loss leader, like something that they just don't even care about making money on, and they really are just doing it for the love of everyone else. And my example for that would be Apple TV Plus, right? So that loses, I think,
that loses a bunch of money,
or something like that.
Yeah, it's bad.
But they make some really cool content, and they just don't give a crap, and I love that. And they are just swimming in so much money that they can do that. It's a drop in the bucket compared to like the money they make from iCloud and everything else. And so it's just it's a posturing thing where it's like, hey, we're going to try to go toe to toe with Netflix and everyone else in terms of quality and caliber of what we create, even if it's got a fraction of the viewers and stuff like that. And that's what I would love to see from something like Xbox, where it's not so much us all like, oh gosh, I hope they're making money. Instead it was more along the lines of like, what cool things can they create? In 2006, when I first got my Xbox 360, I never once worried about whether or not Xbox was making money.
That's not our job.
Cool games. Right. And that's just, that's what I want to do. I want to play cool games, and I just want to get to that point, basically.
So really quick, I do want to say, like, I loved that Double Fine got a chance to make Keeper, but that is 100% allowing Double Fine to make whatever game that they did want.
Sure.
At the same token, it is self-defeating, because I'm so glad that Game Pass gave them that option. The Game Pass shielded them from not worrying about having to worry about sales. Yeah. And also the game director himself said that. He was like, he literally said, this is a Game Pass game, and it doesn't matter if it sells or not, because it matters if people play it or not. And if it doesn't, then no big deal. He literally said those words.
There's no better argument in the world than games are art than that right there.
Right. Yeah. No, that's it. I am so agree. I'm in such agreement with Russ, is that the problem that Microsoft has is that they have too many suits and bean counters, that they cannot value the cool capital, which is not a monetary amount.
Right.
And that is something that you will just lose money on. And Apple is losing money on it. I would argue that Apple TV, even though they're doing the cool stuff and they're losing money, is that there is a difference of quality. And while I liked Keeper, it is 100% not for everybody. And I feel like that is where I address Microsoft or Xbox, where they let these companies down, especially with Hellblade, is like, yes, this is cool and all, but is it fun to play? Like, where is the 30 seconds of fun, right? Like, make the game fun first, and then do your cool thing. Because at the very base, it needs to be games that people want to play. And yes, great that you have that art thing, but now these companies are in an unfair position. And then you get into the realm of, wow, this kind of sucks. Everyone does judge a book by its cover, and we just need to make games that people want to play. And then you get back into the whole, ball and gun type of stuff that people are going to play. So that's the stuff you make. And that's kind of crappy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although at the same time, when I look at the games that Ninja Theory has put out, especially the recent ones, the Senua, what's it called again? Hellblade? Not Hellblade. Yeah. Hellblade. Okay, yeah. I've never played any of them. And every time I look at the trailer for one, I'm like, graphics are really good, but this does not look appealing in the least.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you going to do?
Right, yeah, that I feel like that is Xbox's fault. That they should have really pressed on them that gameplay matters first.
If you're going to make games that make me feel that way, when you look at it, you're like, the graphics are pretty, but I don't really care. Make them cheaper. Don't make them like the graphics didn't sell me on your game.
Right.
Like, sure, the graphics were really good, but are they that much better than everything else? I mean, there's 1,000 games that I can play where I'm like, the graphics are really good.
Right.
Like, they need to spend less. The people who decide, like, this needs to be this many polygons on every character's hair follicles, those people need to take a hike. Like, I spent, I'm not sure how many hours this morning, because I woke up early. I couldn't fall back asleep because I'm used to getting up pretty early. And I came in here and I sat down and I played this stupid little demo of driving a car over rocks. The graphics are not great. I mean, it looks nice, but the graphics are not great. It's definitely low budget. And I had a hell of a time. Stop spending so much money on your fucking game. It doesn't need to be that expensive.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. Like, obviously I don't really pay much attention to the whole whiz biz and everything else in the whole games industry, other than when I'm on the show with you guys, and I learn a lot and I love it. So my question is, like, why do these companies keep buying these gaming establishments, these game developers, and then why do the game companies be like, sure, you can buy us out or whatever, and then also with the risk of you just closing us down and us losing everything that ever was attached to our good name? Is it because of the thrill of okay, we've got this steady income now coming in, which allows us to envision to fulfill our vision? Or is it just, I don't know, it just seems like we keep seeing the same pattern over and over again. Oh, cool, Microsoft and Sony bought those awesome studios that we all love, right? And then they just run them into the ground and then fire everyone and then cancel it. And when are we going to get out of this cycle, and why are we in it in the first place?
I think that from the perspective of the companies that are getting bought, and maybe I'm wrong about this. I haven't looked into this super closely, but my guess is let's just say, Russ, you own a company and you're making games, and Microsoft comes to you and says, I'm going to give you a big pile of cash for your company. Well, after they give you that big pile of cash, Russ, it's not your company anymore. What do you care what happens to it? So you just move on and do something else. And then from the other
that's the Bungie
side,
argument,
right? But then from the other side of the transaction, you look at Microsoft. Microsoft had lots and lots of money, right? What they didn't have is IP to sell on their devices. So for years, that's what everybody kept saying. Microsoft doesn't have any games. Microsoft doesn't have any games. So what did Microsoft do? They got on stage at, it was E3 or something, and they said, we bought these guys, we bought these guys, we bought these guys. You guys said we didn't have enough games. Well, now we got all these IP. And then when it comes to Activision, they bought Activision mostly because they wanted the mobile thing, because the mobile thing brings in stupid amounts of money every single month. It brings in crazy money. It's not gaming as far as what most of us look at, although I'm not exclusionary in that way, but a lot of people are. But that's why they bought them. So, but then they bought these companies, and Carrie was right. They let them do whatever they wanted. And turns out that was a bad move. What they should have done is said, all right, you guys have this long to finish up on these projects, or you can stop and we're going to put you to work on this. And so we're going to revive Hexen. We're going to revive this. We're going to revive all these IP that we now have. We're going to get the developers that can make these things cheaply and make them. And we're going to make them fast so that we can have tons of games on our Xbox Series. And what happened instead is they made an announcement. We've got all this IP. We've got all these studios. And how many years before we actually saw the fruits of that? It was way too long. 4 years. And I know games take a long time to make, but they didn't used to take that long. Right. So just go back to make the games the way that they used to be made, where you can turn them around a lot quicker. Like this whole thing with GTA taking however long to make the next GTA. Get it out the door, man.
So
Go ahead.
I will say there are actually two answers to your question, Russ. I'm not disagreeing with what you said, Bill, because they did absolutely do it with the whole Netflix of games. And if they did it, then they could funnel stuff into their Netflix of games for Game Pass.
Yeah.
But the biggest reason was you have to remember that all of the time that was there, 2018, 2019, 2020, the interest rate on money was nothing. So when you hear that 3% money that they make on what their Xbox is now, and people are like, man, if Microsoft just took their money and put it into a savings account, they'll make 4%. That wasn't the case in 2020. They would make like less than 0.5%. That is why they went and bought these companies, because the value of the dollar holding it was practically worthless. That buying companies, which is not just something Microsoft did, it was also Embracer Group who went on a buying spree,
Oh yeah.
buying a bunch of studios.
Well,
it was
they thought they were going to sell stuff to the Saudis, and then the Saudis backed out, and that screwed Embracer
Right.
Group.
Yeah, but you had Tencent buying studios. You had Tencent putting stuff into it. You had Sony buying Bungie. All of these companies at the time when the value of interest was next to nothing, they were going on a buying spree. And don't forget, when they bought Double Fine, they were trying to make Psychonauts 2, and they were going to crowdfunding because no publisher would make it. So they did a first round there, and they still needed more money, even though they weren't fully done with Psychonauts 2. And then Microsoft came in, even when they already had crowdfunding money, and then they were like, hey, we'll help you get across the finish line. Just give us Psychonauts 2. And that was a boon for Microsoft. But then they didn't do Psychonauts 3, and they didn't do other stuff. They did stuff that no one really cared about as much. But yeah, that's basically the twofold reason is you look at Obsidian, you look at In Exile, you look at Compulsion Games. All of these studios were actually in a not a great place, to the point that when Microsoft came to them, they kind of had no other, like they couldn't. It was a deal that they couldn't say no to, type of deal.
Yeah.
So that's really the answer that it boils down to, is that they said yes because they kind of needed to. And all these other companies was like, our money is worthless and we have $80 billion. What do we do with all this money that's worthless to us? It's like, oh, let's buy Bethesda. And then they were like, oh, that was pretty awesome. What are we going to do now? And it's like, how about Activision? And literally right after that, I want to say a year after that, is when interest rates started going up, and that they were like, oh shit, this kind of sucks, and they did not want to be in that position anymore. And then we started seeing everything getting tight on them, and that happened to a lot of companies. Think about all of the private equity companies buying Red Lobster, buying whatever, during the time that money was cheap. It's not just gaming. Think about private equity. It was money was so cheap that buying these companies with other things, with borrowed money, was so cheap that you just did it. And that's no longer the case today. Very much not so the case today. So that's really what it comes down to as the actual answer of why there was such a big acquisition spree. And now we have, like, if you want a mortgage, 7% interest. And before it was like, you can get a mortgage for like 2.5%, 3% in 2019. You can't get that today. And that's the reason.
So this makes me think, and that makes sense too. But for me, I'm thinking of it more just kind of like this human factor side, So you think about a company, a game development studio, and they, often, just the way I'm envisioning it, is that they are on the chopping block with every release. They're like, this has got to be a success, right? We put all our time and interest and money and passion and heart into this thing. It's got to be a success. We can make our next game after that, and that's just kind of how it goes. And so I can see the allure of getting, bought by Xbox or by Sony or whatever, and be like, all right, that fear is gone, right? We've got the capital now. We can actually do what we envision. But then I also think about, like, somebody who's rich and they're like, I just want to give everything I can to my kid, right? I don't want them to ever need or be, like ever wanting. And that usually makes a spoiled brat, where they end up like, you give them too much, like it's, diamonds are created through pressure, right? And so that's kind of the thinking that I have here, is that what happens if a game studio gets too much of what they want, and all of a sudden it's like they don't have that survival instinct that potentially is that pressure that makes the diamond. And so is that something that happened with Double Fine and things like that? You know what I mean? Where as opposed to creating something that we have to make this thing a raging success or we're gone, or it's like, oh, let's just do this my pet project, And you see that often with like music and movies and stuff. When someone's in an act of desperation is when they create these wonderful works of art. And I wonder if this is part of that too, is that corporate kind of takeover and taking away some of those fears is why we often are just left in this loop where these gaming companies never seem to deliver after they've been bought out like that.
They're getting bought by companies with shareholders, and shareholders are risk averse.
Right.
And the thing is that when the shareholders look at successful games, they're the big ones. Like they're the huge ones that everybody's always talking about. But that's not the only way to have a successful game. So what they should do instead of having this risk is really high, this has to be a success, instead of spending $200-300 million on a game,
right,
spend way less on a bunch of different games. That diversifies your portfolio. It also increases the number of games that are on your platform. Like when Microsoft is constantly putting out these games that are like these huge games that took, buckets of cash in order to make, they could have put out 10 games for the same price, and some of those would have sold like bananas.
Yeah, so the double-edged sword of that, and I'm in agreement with you, Bill. I'm still in agreement with you. The part that gets kind of like squirrely is if you have all of these games, the 10 games, we're not really factoring in all of the logistics and the marketing costs of those things, which will start adding up into millions, or you just don't market them and hope that Game Pass is the word of mouth. And I can understand why you don't really want to have a whole bunch, because then the marketing costs are out of the, it's a problem, but I'm still in agreement with you, Bill. Like for me, I still wish that they spent like $2 million just making like a new Space Quest game, which they have the IP for now. And $2 million would be nothing to these guys. And you can get like a small team of 4 that have made point and click adventure games in the old style. And that would float them for 2 years. You could just have that on the back burner. And I know no one would care about it, but it would be a cool game. And that's the thing that I try, like, you have these things that I think a lot of people would appreciate, the actual older version of it. You don't need to make it modern. You don't need to have super awesome graphics for that. Just make it how it was and give it to a team that could take it. So what we're getting from Twinmotion with the new Castlevania. Mm-hmm. I don't think, there are problems, like, you can't just say, here's some money, go do it, because that team could just do nothing, right? Like, so the management of all that is happens, also, So there's a bunch, but there's a part of me that's like, man, you really could have just spent $10 million here and there instead of all this time and effort into like these bigger things that just did not turn out the way they should have. I think the one that hurts me the most is that Hi-Fi Rush was actually a better game, like insofar as like a game that appeals to a wider set of people, and then they got the axe. So ooh, what do I know?
Yeah,
Crazy. After Matt Booty said that Hi-Fi Rush met every single key metric that they look for.
Yeah, you guys banged it. Get the hell out. What?
All right. Well, bad news Bill strikes again. We got an update for Stop Killing Games. This was posted, I think it was yesterday or the day before. It says the commission, and this is the commission that was supposed to look at, the European Commission, that's supposed to look at what people were saying with, stop making games and then shutting down the servers, basically taking what we bought and taking it away from us. They had 1 million signatures. It was verified that they were all EU signatures. So then the commission had to look at it. And here's what the commission said. The commission cannot propose a legal obligation to keep video games playable after they stop being provided commercially. However, existing EU customer law already provides for important safeguards for customers. In reply to the ECI, the commission will initiate by the end of 2026 an exchange with the video game industry and consumer representatives, the aim to draw up an industry code of conduct on managing video games end of life. Work with consumer organizations and authorities to raise awareness about the applicable consumer rights, including safeguards protecting their interests Active enforcement of the existing consumer rights can also be incentivize the providers to offer video games with longer lifespans. Essentially, they're not going to do anything. Like, this isn't a code of conduct. Yahoo. That sucks.
Yeah, this seems more like, hey, we're not going to do anything, but here are some things that, so we just don't say only that, you know, here are a couple other things that we'll do. And they even say just initiate an exchange. They're not saying that they're going to have an exchange or anything else like that. So yeah, kind of a bummer.
Definitely a bummer. Anything to add there, Carrie, before we get to the games we've been playing?
No, nothing for me on this.
All right. Bad news is over. It's only good news now. Let's talk about the games that we've been playing. Carrie, you haven't played anything, have you? You've been too busy.
I played a little bit of Mina the Hollower. I played the first level. I got the first boss. That is all I have been able to put time into. I played a bit on the plane ride. It's interesting because it's kind of a mixture of a few different games. Mostly it's like Adventure of Link. Which one is it? The Game Boy one?
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, so it's like definitely that is the focal point, but then you have a few things that are borrowing from like Dark Souls a bit in a few different ways. So it's kind of a mixture of different games, but it's pretty good. It didn't really capture me, to be honest. I don't really feel the hook, even going through and passing the first mini boss, I guess. I picked the flail as my weapon. I don't know if the other weapons feel any better, but I don't know. Kind of iffy on it.
You've been playing that too, Russ, right?
Yeah, not much. I'm still like I'm at near the end of the first level. I was really getting a feel for it, and then the mechanics of it, and then also like the difficulty spikes and everything, kind of getting a good feel for that. I'm playing it on my Odin 3 via Game Native, so I'm not playing it on PC or anything, but it feels great, you know. I'd agree with Carrie. It's like very Link's Awakening. You know, the thing that messes me up, and I don't know the names of the weapons, and I don't know if this is the same one you have, Carrie, but I'm using like the chain whip thing.
That's what I got.
Yeah, it's a flail.
Yeah.
And so that is like, it's very limiting because it only goes up, down, left, or right. Like you can't do diagonals with it. And I don't know why, but I need my diagonals with that weapon. And so that's been like causing me issues, you know, it's like my brain just expecting more than the game's giving. But I will say like, I try a lot to get further in Shovel Knight, and I just can't. Like, it's a hard game. It takes a lot of concentration. I hate the thing where you die and then there's a bag of money and you got to get back to that spot to get your bag of money back.
It's
that amount of stress. Like, oh, I hate it. You know, and you can turn that off in Mina the Hollower, thankfully. But that's the thing is like Mina the Hollower, the accessibility options to it really let you kind of curate the game to your own level. And I really like that. And of course, it's challenging for those who want it to. And that's like the ideal kind of game in that regard. So I do see myself really do like spending more time with it and whatnot. I'm just hopping off of everything right now, so it's not great. But yeah, I'm liking the game. I think it's well worth it. And it feels like a better investment than Shovel Knight was. You know, I really bought Shovel Knight to celebrate the fact that they made it. And I was like, I can't believe this is here. You know, it's like a Mega Man plus like other platformers mixed into one, you know, I just love it. But it's just not one that I've really been able to progress very well in. But this one feels like it's doable.
I adore Shovel Knight so freaking much. I have the Shovel Knight Gold Amiibo like over there somewhere on my shelf. I think I'm pointing at it right now. You can barely see it in the background, but that was a gift from a buddy of mine. What's up, Charles? I absolutely love Shovel Knight. Played through it multiple times. Actually played through it once with my son when he was really young. We did 2-player and we had so much fun playing that. Definitely try it 2-player, Russ. I think you might turn around on it maybe. Yeah. Really great game. I have not yet picked up Mina the Howler, and here's the reason why. I got to finish James Bond first. And I was playing a shitload of James Bond. And then the Summer Games Fest happened, and they announced Final Fantasy VII what's it called again? Revelations. It's a terrible name because I cannot I mean, it makes sense, but I cannot remember it for the life of me. So they announced that, and you know what I ended up doing? I ended up loading up Final Fantasy VII, the original version, right, on PC. But then I found this thing called Seventh Heaven. Have you guys heard of this?
Mm-mm.
No, it's a mod manager for Final Fantasy VII. So basically, you go through and you're like, I want widescreen, I want HD up-res backgrounds, I want better models and stuff. And so I had to watch a tutorial because it's not like you have to do it a certain way if you are doing it on Linux, which I'm playing on Linux. But I went through and I got that all set up, and that's what I've been playing is Final Fantasy VII, the original, but with like nicer looking characters, nicer looking spell effects, better UI. Nice. So like instead of having the entire bottom of your screen being filled up, it like just takes the health and brings it down to the bottom square. It takes the moves and puts them in the other corner. And I've just been having a ball with it because I have not actually finished the original Final Fantasy VII. I got, like, when I had it on my PlayStation back in the day, I got to a point where I hadn't grinded enough. And so the final boss was just kicking my ass. And I was like, I had two options. I could stop playing the game or I could go grind. And I just didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like grinding, and so I stopped playing. And if I stop playing something for long enough, I never really get back to it because I never want to start over. But I finally loaded it up, and I want to see how the stories are different between the remakes, which I love those games, and then this. But when I was playing it on my A1 Thor without the up-res stuff, and I was like, God, this looks like shit. Like I loved it when it came out, but it just looks like hot garbage. And then I was like, I wonder if there are mods, and sure enough, there are. And guys, feel free to yell at me if you think that there's a timeless look to Final Fantasy VII. I don't think that there is. It's not like Mario or Zelda pixel art where that still looks good today. Like when you play Final Fantasy VII, man, that shit is ugly, and that's okay because that's not what I'm playing it for. But now it looks nice, and it looks like I'm playing, instead of Final Fantasy Remake, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remastered, is what it feels like to me, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, the pre-rendered stuff I still kind of appreciate, but Final Fantasy VII I kind of fell off hard on, and Final Fantasy VII is one of the games that kind of made me not like JRPGs much anymore. But I was in the overworld. I was like going through the mini map or something. I was looking through my materia and doing nonsense with materia, and I was just like, what am I even doing? And I was in the middle of grinding and stuff to try to pass something, and I was just like, I am not really having fun right now, and I don't know why I'm doing this. I was doing it because like I love JRPGs, and then that love kind of faded away with Final Fantasy VII. So I don't remember where I stopped playing, but I just know I fell off hard.
When I'm playing it, I usually have my headphones in, and I'm listening to a podcast or something while I'm playing. So it's not like it doesn't have my full attention.
Yeah, JRPGs are so much better to me now that you can fast forward through so much of it. And that becomes much more palatable to me now, which is probably how I would play it, is just fast forwarding through a bunch of stuff.
Old JRPGs did not respect your time.
Well, it's the same problem that they had like in the mid 90s when what you had Funkoland, right? Funkoland was still around, but GameStop was buying those up at the time. Okay. But anyway, they you had those things was like over 100 hours of gameplay, and the reason that they did that was so that people didn't resell their games so quickly because they needed. So they basically just put a bunch of filler inside of games, so you had these long grinding sessions, so you can feel the arc of time where games were made, and they were like, oh, this is a perfect game, and then you can see that you can feel when a game was like, oh, you need to buy the strategy guide to get past this part, and it's like, you bastards, like you purposely made this like long and drawn out to the point where you had to sell more stuff to people for them to, you had to let them have it longer, and you also needed them to really sell something else so that they can pass something. They did that with Sierra. If you take a look at Space Quest 2, it's like a fantastic. There's like multiple ways to pass certain situations, so you have like multiple solutions to a problem. And then all of a sudden, it's like the next versions come out, and it's like really convoluted. Like, what the hell am I doing with this needle, and why is it going here? This makes no sense. And it's like, oh, because you have to buy the strategy guide, and that's like literally all this comes out. So you can kind of feel that happening in games, and I feel like Final Fantasy VII just broke me on that.
I wonder if that's what happened with I was playing, was it Westwood Studios made a Blade Runner game on the PC?
That's the point and click one.
Yeah, and it was like I remember that was like I got stuck and I couldn't figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. And I guess I was supposed to buy a strategy guide.
So I'm having a similar experience right now. So the other game I'm playing is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake.
Dude, I saw you playing that so many times. It kept on popping up.
I know. So the reason why that kept popping up was because I put it on standby in Game Native on my Odin 3 overnight.
Oh.
And apparently it just kept churning because I came back because I got 27 hours in that game now, but I've only actually played it for like 3, you know?
Yeah, I was like,
so it was just keep running. Yeah. Anyway, so that game, like, you know, Dragon Warrior 1 on the NES and even Dragon Quest 1 and 2 on Game Boy Color, played through both of those. And so as soon as you like get through the beginning part, and it looks amazing. Like, I love the fact they just built it from the ground up, you know. And then you get through the first part, the king's talking, he's like, all right, go on your quest, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as I get out of town, I'm like, all right, let me just go ahead and go down to this spot right here and then walk back and forth for the next 3 hours and just level up my guy and get all the gold and everything else that I need to do before I can even start thinking about the other stuff, right? No, I didn't have to do any of that. Like, the game just kind of balanced, you know, where it's like, okay, I can actually just travel to my next destination, which thankfully can be highlighted on the map if you'd like to, so you don't have to like question where you're going next, you know, and you'll just level up on the way. Like, when you fight these enemies who aren't going to decimate you the first time you see them, you know. And so it is a much more balanced game where it feels like I actually am on a quest, as opposed to these hard stop moments where I'm like, all right, let me just grind here for a couple hours and hopefully I won't forget what I'm supposed to do once I'm strong enough to be able to do it. And so the game's running really well, and I'm only a few hours into it, but I feel like I've progressed more than I would if I had been playing it for 10 hours with the other counterparts of this game.
You know, another game that does that really well, I think I'm remembering the right game, is Bravely Default. You get to decide. You're like, I want random encounters. I don't want any random encounters right now. So, like, you get just to decide, like, how frequent the random encounters happen. And then that means you have less XP or more XP as you're going from one place to another. So you don't have to do that thing where you walk back and forth hoping to trigger random encounters. If you want them, they're like nonstop. And if you don't want them, you could just turn them off, and then you could just walk from one place to the next so you can get to the next story beat.
That's nice.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the NerdNest podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Before we get out of here, I would really like to hear what Russ and Carrie are working on. Russ, what are you working on, man?
I'm working on everything right now. Like with Carrie, like I came home to just stacks of stuff, like embarrassingly like large amounts of work. And so I don't know, like I want to work on a Odin 3 6 months later video. I've been working on that all week. And then I've gotten a bunch of things like the epilogue, SN, like the ones, the cartridge readers, you know.
Mine's not here yet, but I got it. I got my notification.
Yeah, mine came in yesterday, but then they also sent me one too, so I got multiples. I'll give the other one away in my video probably. But then I also, like, Lenovo was like, hey, you want to try out this new tab that we have? And so, like, even though I just made a video about the other one, they're like, here, try out the new one. So I got a video to make about that one and everything else. I got the GPD computers that I need to be working on. I got the MSI Claw, which is coming out next week. And so just a lot going on right now. So, yeah.
What about you, Carrie?
Yeah, so I did finish up a GPD video while I was in London, and I had captured video and I was able to talk about it, but it was like kind of like a general overview. And I have stuff running on that in the background. The problem is that it's 2 machines and an eGPU dock, so it's like a whole bunch of crap that's going to take me a tremendous amount of time. So I unfortunately, like, I captured SteamOS on the 358H of the GPD box, but I've been like full steam ahead on the Claw, the new Claw, the one with
the handheld first chip.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. So I need to hit that for embargo. So that's what I've been doing nonstop, really.
All right. Well, make sure that you head over to their channels, or if you just click on the subscribe button down below, it will pop up both Russ's channel, which is Retro Game Core, and Carrie's channel, which is The Fox. And then subscribe here as well before you guys go. You guys could have been anywhere, but you hung out with us for the last hour 44, or probably less because of the technical difficulties. But thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you on the next one. It's good to have you guys back. Stay rad, everybody.
Yeah, same.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.